Hello English 111, this is my 7th speech for this online class in which I will be discussing how to change the world. Again, President Cooper, please pan over to my audience. Let me listen to my speech today. Okay, let's begin. With gas nearing almost $4 a gallon again, many people are looking for solutions for this modern day energy crisis. Since I'm only a college student, I'm not a true expert on the subject, but I tend to think of myself as a generally green person because I recycle almost everything, and I am very conscious about how much electricity I use. If I could change the world, I would make it that only hybrid cars could be manufactured by automotive companies. With help from a government regulation, we could help reduce the amount of oil consumed by America each day while also helping the environment by reducing the amount of emissions produced by automobiles. First of all, I begin by describing what a hybrid is. A hybrid vehicle are vehicles that combine two forms of power in order to move. The most common form of power for hybrids include a rechargeable source system coupled with a fuel-burning internal combustion engine. The rechargeable battery system is usually powered by save kinetic energy by using the brake system, a spinnable generator powered by the fuel-burning engine, or a plug-in source. Hybrid cars can easily get over 60 miles per gallon, and with larger battery modifications, can even reach up to 250 miles per gallon, all while producing almost zero emissions. Hybrid cars would greatly impact the amount of oil and also help out the environment. In the year 2000, the United States consumed nearly 20 million barrels of oil every day. Over half of that was supplied by other countries, including Iraq, Saudi Arabia, and other nations with politically unstable power. Of that daily consumption, 40% went to fuel our cars and trucks at the cost of consumers at $186 billion. By 2020, oil consumption is expected to grow nearly 40%, and our dependence on imports is expected to rise more than 60%. Cars and trucks were responsible for over 20% of the global warming emissions produced by the United States during 2000, producing over 1,450 million tons of heat-trapping gases that are linked to global warming. Most of these gases stay in the atmosphere for over 170 years and are continually contributing to an increase in the Earth's average surface temperature. With hybrids, the United States could reduce its oil consumption by up to 20%, and if a plug-in option is used with hybrids with wind energy to recharge the battery, it could reduce oil consumption by 28%, saving over 5.5 million barrels of oil per day while producing almost zero emissions. The way this could all happen is with just a simple government regulation, with the government regulation saying that auto manufacturers and auto dealerships would only be able to produce and sell brand new hybrid vehicles. The reason that most people do not have hybrid cars is because they are priced around $7,000 more than a normal gas guzzler. But this will only be temporarily. New technology is always more expensive until mass production takes over. This is what already happened with wind power, and now wind power is cheaper than any other power source, stated Dr. Hermann Scher, a German politician who created a $13 billion alternative energy industry. All clean energy in the long run is cheaper because you don't have to pay for the fuel, he said. Renewables are the only thing that can lead to clean and cheap energy forever. So is there really an energy crisis or simply a crisis of ignorance? Human potential is the most overlooked and important factor in overcoming the problems in peak oil and climate change, Schneer said. We cannot discuss this question, only cost comparisons. Who has the courage in 20 or 25 years to tell their own children we could have solved the problem, but it was too expensive for us? The additional cost of 3 or 4 cents per kilowatt hour was too costly for us. That's really shabby. Ultimately, with hybrid vehicles, it would eventually phase out all non-hybrids within like 15 to 20 years. Most of the non-hybrid vehicles would break down, and since only hybrids are being produced, the amount of oil used to power hybrids would greatly reduced with more money going towards technology. And within 20 years, almost all gas guzzling cars should be non-existent, which would greatly help the environment and greatly reduce the amount of oil consumed by America each day, while most hybrids produce zero emissions. Thank you very much. That is my speech 7, and I hope you have a good night.